let's lower that music down. Okay, all the way down. There it is. Okay, what's up, folks? This is Francisco here, joined by my good buddies Andrew and Charles for Sports Goofs number 139. How you guys doing? How's it going? How's it hanging? Guys?
I'm good. I was waiting for Andrew because usually he's like second introduction. But I think I committed the ultimate sin right before we started the show, as I told you guys. I was waiting out to get live reactions just because it's a good kind of segue to my goofiness that comes into it. But is Andrew there? It's the bigger question.
Yeah, that's.
I am here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
He was just silent. So I think the ultimate sin that I created is when I went to go get Kirby for free at Best Buy, because that's how I do things. They couldn't. It was like $59.99, and they're like, "Well, you have 60, and we can't have a residue on a gift certificate, so we need you to get something." So I got a pack of Kit Kats because Best Buy, they have good tactics. They're like, "Oh, hey, candy bars right there." So I'm not going to say no to $1.48 4-pack of Kit Kat bar when I'm knowing I'm going to get the game free. So I got a game and a Kit Kat bar for $1.48. It was fantastic. But as I'm eating the show, or I'm on the show, I opened up my my Kit Kat bag. And what happened was, it's the 4-pack, it's a normal size. The ultimate sin I think that happened is the Kit Kat bars broke before I even fully unwrapped it. So I don't know if that's like 7 years bad luck, the equivalent of breaking a mirror or walking under a ladder. I mean, I get bad luck as this. I'm a Trujillo. We get Trujillo luck. So what that means is it's bad luck covered in good. It's like honey with poison. So that means some good. I'll probably win the lotto, but then I'll get robbed at the gas station. So it's like I had the winning ticket, but I got robbed, and then I also got shot in the foot kind of mentality. So I don't know if that's the ultimate sin. It wasn't intentional, but I feel like my body betrayed me. So do you guys think that's the ultimate sin in candy snacking? The Kit Kat bars broke apart right before fully opening. I feel like it's bad luck, and I should just like go to church or something. I don't know.
What do you think, Andrew?
Sorry, I was concentrating on something else. I'm setting my lineup.
He was thinking about his Kit Kat bars. He understands, just like me.
You're setting your fantasy lineup or something for baseball?
No, for my video game baseball.
Oh, okay. All right. So Andrew's gaming. He's gaming on the side. Here we go.
For only a few minutes till the Lightning game starts at 7:30.
Yeah.
Multiverse Andrew is real.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Coming.
Yeah, stuff is happening tonight, folks.
It's been a while since I've gamed and done the show, so my multitasking skills are a little bit weak.
Well, we've got a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff to talk about. Yeah, we got NBA playoffs. That's happening.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens tonight. Okay, both solar / temperature based teams are playing tonight at home. The Suns and the Heat.
Frauds.
Which one? Which one are frauds?
Yeah.
Listen. I got the Suns rant coming, so it's all right. I also have a Justin Verlander rant because my paralegal tried me and I shut that shit down.
And Stanley Cup Playoffs. We've got a bunch as well. The 2-2 series. For almost all of them are 2-2 at this point. Almost all of them are 2-2. The only team that has moved on are the Colorado Avalanche. They swept the Nashville Predators, so they're the only team that gets to relax and enjoy themselves moving forward. But every other series is pretty much 2-2 except for the Penguins and Rangers series, which looked like it was going to go deeper, but maybe the Penguins are going to clamp this down and beat the blue shirts there. And then we'll also, we have baseball. I do want to talk about some of the juggernauts and the tanking teams this year. So we've got that. And then, heck, we might even talk about the Formula One race, because I watched the entire broadcast for the most part, guys.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, heck, it was happening. It was happening at here in Miami, at the old baseball stadium, because nothing good happens for the sport of football there. And yeah. Well, where do we? Let's talk about Formula One, guys. Let's start with that, because we don't really talk about it that much. Andrew, you've become a fan. That was your non-sponsor last week.
Mm-hmm.
The OG Doug, he's a massive fan of F1. He watched that show. I asked him. I tweeted. I texted him on Sunday for the big old race there, and I asked him, "You're not there, right?" He's like, "No." He was gonna pay $1,000 for the ticket. So
Fuck that. Fuck no.
I just thought, like a once in a lifetime type of thing, he would do it.
Well, you say once in a lifetime, but they're actually coming back for at least 2 more years. So
I thought it was like a 10-year thing. I thought they were doing like a 9-year thing.
2 years, 10 years, I don't know. It's coming back.
It's coming back.
So
okay,
I'll just save my money for next time.
Okay. So
Besides, it actually ended up being good because the racing this year sucked. So
that's what I read on Twitter, because obviously I don't know what's a good race and what's not, unless it's Mario Kart based.
Damn right.
But Andrew, I mean, did you watch all of it, or at least most of it, or like followed it completely throughout this
I
weekend?
watched from red lights out to checkered flag.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the race happened, and but what were the other days about? Like, were they doing things on the other days before, like the main? Like, I don't understand F1. How do we get to like do they have to qualify to get?
So
in
is this
first?
going to be our learner goof?
Yes, because I don't know. I have no
Please
idea.
educate us on Italian
Okay.
hillbillies.
All I know is that the British guy mistook a college basketball player for Patrick Mahomes. And
Martin Brundle.
Yeah, that kind of went viral, and he was like walking around. Like, I watched that portion of the broadcast specifically, that he was walking around looking for celebrities that he could recognize, and the entire time he's walking around the whole thing, and he's literally walking behind Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union the entire time. He's like, I'm like looking for celebrities to talk to when you have one of the biggest celebrities in Miami sports history right in front of you. But I don't know. Maybe he should have had like a handler or something, like an American handler that could tell him.
I mean, he does this at every race, so it's,
that's par for the course.
well, not that he misses celebrities, but he walks down the track.
Yeah. Okay. It just felt really. It felt really weird because and the broadcast wasn't, because it was playing on ABC. But it wasn't ABC's, like they don't have any broadcast. ESPN doesn't have broadcasters specifically for F1, so they just
Correct. They use the broadcast from Sky Sports.
Yeah, out in the UK,
England. Mm-hmm.
So I guess I didn't get how they do things there, and they don't have things latent and laced with advertisement compared to a real American broadcast, but. The guy was just walking around for like a good 20 minutes. They were just having a single camera. Single camera.
Yeah,
just
that's what he does.
I just found it very strange and very funny to see.
It's what he does. It's what he does. I mean, there was an incident last year at the race in Austin.
What's his name?
Where
again?
Martin Brundle.
Martin Brundle.
Like bundle, but with an R in front of it. So Brundle.
Okay.
So there was an incident last year where he tried to talk to Cardi B, I think. And her entourage was giving him like a hard time. You can't talk to her. And he's like, yeah, I can. So there was backlash against the entourage for accosting him because that's his job. That's what he does every race for the past God knows how long. That's his thing. Anyone who knows anything about Formula One knows that that's his thing. That's what he does. So, but anyway. Yeah, so that's Martin Brundle. So to explain the format, so Friday, It's always a 3-day event. Generally, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Occasionally, it'll be different days, but generally speaking, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday consists of free practice 1 and free practice 2. It's just kind of a track, an opportunity to get acclimated to the track. There's no timing.
So they're feeling it out.
Right. So really, it's just gathering data. You can run the track as many times as you want. Helps you get a feel. It's especially important for a new track like this where they've never driven it before. But it ultimately is very important for any track, no matter how many times they've been there. So they have, I don't know how long the sessions are, but it's X amount of time. So then they take a break, then they do it again, and that's the end of the day. So that's Friday. Saturday, they have one final free practice session, and then they have their qualifying. How that works is it goes in 3 stages, essentially. And I don't know the timing. I feel like it's like 12 minutes per. I don't remember. But I'm just going to go under the assumption that it's 12 minutes. Just work with me.
Okay.
So for the first one, all 20 drivers get to set their fastest lap. They have to start a lap within that 12 minutes. So what that means is, in theory, and it happens quite often, time will have expired, but as long as you're going on a lap, you can finish the lap. It's not like it stops time. So it's kind of like a shot at the buzzer
Okay.
in basketball.
Yeah. So it's like it's still in the air. Yeah.
Right. So, but in this case, the air is cross the finish line as time expires, so you can finish a lap. Usually, teams will go 2 to 3 times. At the end of the time period, the 5 worst drivers, based on the best time that they run, it's not average or anything, it's just the best run they have. The worst 5 get eliminated. So they are set where they were. So, like, let's say the 12th fastest guy during the race, he'll start in 12th, or not 12th. Let's say the 17th fastest guy, he'll start in 17th during the race. So that's 1. 2, you have another 12 minutes, but this time it's the top 15 drivers only. And again, watch, rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Get X amount of minutes, finish your laps, blah, 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 blah. Then the next 5 lowest get eliminated. So now it's only the top 10 going to the final round. And in that case, same thing. So really, it's just you're lopping off 5 at a time until you get to that top 10, at which point then they set their fastest laps, and then that sets the top 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's just them whittling down from all the way down to the, I guess, the final day, right? It's kind of like a PGA Tour event, let's say, right? Almost in the same aspect. Like, and then Sunday is the final day, where the final round of golf, and it's all just the final guys there. That's kind of
more or less, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking of it. How they start on a Friday, and then by Sunday they have the last few people that are going out there.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So that's how it works. So on Sunday was the real race.
Actual race.
Right. Okay.
That's all they do on Sunday is the race.
So,
although what they did this week, in most races, they'll have at least one of the lower divisions do a race. Typically, there's a Formula 3 race on Saturday, and then there's a Formula 2 race on Sunday prior to the main race. But that didn't happen here in Miami. Instead, they had W Series race ahead of the main Formula 1 race. W Series is an all-woman racing series. All the cars are identical. So it's not like Formula 1 where the teams can make aerodynamic changes or anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, all the cars are identical, but it's all women drivers.
And is Formula 1 different? And let me just ask you this, because like we've seen like in IndyCar racing and in NASCAR even, like women drivers. Have there been women drivers in Formula 1? I would assume.
There have been, yes.
Okay.
There's no...
Because I saw Danica Patrick was one, right? Was she one?
She was Indy.
Okay. She did some of the promos during the Sunday.
Well,
broadcast.
she's an American racer, so
yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. And she was in Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform, by the way. So.
Well, she marketed herself better than she raced. Let's say that much.
That's for sure. Yeah. She can't beat Sonic the Hedgehog. Even in a car. And Sonic was in a car too, so I'm just saying.
Right. So what was the question you were asking again?
So I asked about the women. So there have been women in F1 in the past. So it's not like a hardline rule, like no women allowed, that type of thing. It was just like they have their own circuit specifically, or
they're trying to increase parity.
Okay.
They're trying. They realize that it's a real sausage fest. So they're trying to, they're doing more to try and get outreach into
other demographics. Let's just say
correct, like people of color.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a big thing for Lewis Hamilton, who is the only non-white person on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking like Daniel Ricciardo is part Italian, or I don't care about that.
But not of African, of any sort of African.
Well, actually, that's not true, because there is a Mexican driver. There are a couple of Spanish drivers.
But when you mean of African descent in some sort of way,
right?
Because we're not talking about, because all of them are European, right? So they're all white in some sort of way. different varieties of white.
It's the only non-traditional.
You got some mozzarella. You got the Swiss cheese. You got.
I actually take that back. There is a.
That's how I think of Europeans in the form of cheese.
I actually take that back. There is a driver who's part Thai.
Okay.
And he races under the Thai flag. He's British by birth. His father is British. His mother is Thai. And he races under the Thai flag, is so called. But generally speaking, it's a bunch of rich white guys from Europe.
Well, that's kind of the.
There's got to be some talent involved, though, right?
Of course.
There is, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know how talented you could be to drive a car, and I'm not trying to minimize the people who like the sport, but it's Italian NASCAR, Charles. So it's just like, okay.
But it's these are sophisticated. I mean, you saw that. That was kind of
Modelo beer versus Coors Light, baby. That
was the kind of the kind of stark contrast that you can see. Like, you saw the celebrities that came out for this. I get it; it's Miami, and there's only 2 American events, and nobody's gonna go to Austin, Texas. That's
nobody from Miami is gonna go to a NASCAR thing, though, right? You would think.
They have the Homestead Miami Speedway, so there's plenty of people that go down to that. But it's the vibe itself isn't very like this felt very Miami.
You don't play Pepas in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
You play Hank Williams Jr.
You saw the different kinds of celebrities that were out there. Michael Jordan was out there.
I saw Jeremy Tachey's thing that had what's his name? I don't want to say Bryan Cranston, and it's a shame because I'm continuing Better Call Saul, but it's Bryan Cranston and Aaron, whatever his name is, the guy who plays Jesse.
Oh, forgot what's it? Yeah, he
yeah,
was
right.
Yeah.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. There we go. Yeah,
Aaron
he was
Paul.
in the Need for Speed movie. Yeah, this Michael Jordan was there. Who else was there? There was a photo of him. Of course, Dwayne Wade was there. Gabrielle Union, a bunch of Miami Dolphins were there.
Bex was there.
Yeah, Bad Bunny was there, of course. Pharrell was there. I think Venus, at least Venus Williams was there.
Venus and Serena.
Both of them were there. So that makes sense. And yeah, just a ton of American celebrities. That, I mean, it was basically the event of events. People were comparing it like, oh, it's like it was like the F1 version of it was like the F1 and the Super Bowl mixed into one for a lot of people. And honestly, I have to say it piqued my interest in this. Like I texted Doug afterwards, like, I might want to download one of my various racing games that I have in the backlog and then pretend that I'm a racer or something. I think I might have one of the Formula One games. I'm not sure in the backlog, but it kind of, you gotta scratch. Every time I get that racing kick at least once a year, where I just want to play a bunch of racing games, and it might get there, but I gotta get through Batman first, and then we got Death Stranding.
That we do.
Then we got Death Stranding because we gotta.
But the racing game's gonna be fine for Death Stranding month.
That's true. That as a cooldown, but it did pique my interest, Andrew. I was engaged throughout the race. I couldn't tell if it was a bad race or not. There was that one moment where that guy kind of snuck into it and popped the tires off of that one dude. I think his name was like Lando Norris or something like that. I have no idea, or maybe I got those names mixed up.
Yeah, it was Lando Norris.
I did remember something. Yeah. I'm happy.
Lando Norris. Depending, I'm not citing fault here when I make this statement. I'm not saying who's at blame because I don't know who, but Lando Norris ran into Pierre Gasly, which caused Norris's tire to fall off, so he was done for the day, and that brought out the safety car.
Yeah.
Which was honestly the most exciting thing to happen in the race. After like the first couple, it was the most exciting thing to happen after Max Verstappen passed Charles Leclerc earlier in the race. After that, the race was pretty boring.
Okay. And why do you say it was boring?
There was no overtake. There was no people passing each other, which in F1 parlance is called overtaking. There was no passing really, even further down the grid. That's kind of what makes for an exciting race, is whether there's a lot of room open to pass or whatever. Like for instance. There's race in Monaco where pretty much where you qualify is where you're going to finish in the race. And it's like boring as hell because it's like, all right, I can turn it off and turn it back on. There will be no changes here. That's why people like safety cars, because it kind of changes things up a little bit. So yeah, it didn't. Everyone was saying, "Oh, it's going to have lots of passing, a lot of overtaking opportunities," but no, it really didn't. So, try again next time. Maybe alter the track a little bit.
So let me get your opinion before we move on.
Okay.
The track itself. What did you think of the track, of the layout and whatever?
I mean, it was fine in theory. Are you talking like the design or how it looked, or?
I mean, let's talk about the design itself. How the twists and the turns, and does it make it a good? Because like in Mario Kart, we could tell like which tracks are the good tracks, right? I mean, Waluigi Stadium is a legend in my household.
I mean, I'm not nearly qualified and knowledgeable about Formula One to be able to say what is a good track or not based solely on its appearance. But I'll just say that in theory, it should have been okay because you have the difference of, I mean, aside from the fact of the whole, you're just going in an oval thing.
And I'm playing on the. If you look on the screen, I'm playing a video of Leclerc going through the track, so we can kind of see how it.
Street courses, and they just make everything so boring.
Less organic.
Because I'm just through the Twitter feed and the scrolling, and I'm hitting people's reactions to videos. I'm just like, all right. I guess they're in agreement with you.
And the thing is with the elevation changes.
On this video itself, you see all the criticisms. What happened to actual race tracks? Elevation changes in gravel traps? ? These street circuits are appalling. I want an immaculate ribbon of tarmac snaking through mature parkland carved into the side of some ancient rolling hills. Please, these quote street circuits unquote, of which there are many now, are crap.
And it's true. I mean, even the quintessential street course, which is Monaco. I know I keep saying Monaco,
but it's the one that most people think of when they think of F1.
Exactly. That's part of the so-called triple crown of, and I didn't know this, I had to look this up. The triple crown of racing is winning Monaco, 24 hours at Le Mans, and Indy 500.
Okay.
Even Monaco has elevation changes. It goes up, it goes down, it goes curvy, goes sideways.
And you're well, even if they did this in Miami, aside from the bridges themselves, you're not going to get much up and down.
I mean, the only elevation change, and I'm serious.
Although going across the bridges would have been pretty cool from like Miami Beach to Miami proper downtown. I think Asphalt 7, the free-to-play game, or you can no longer find it.
Nice plug.
Well, you can no longer find it. You can't download it anymore. I tried to, but they do have a Miami course. They do have a Miami course that was kind of like that, and it kind of gave an idea of what could have been in an F1 Miami thing. Sorry, Andrew.
The Miami race was supposed to go across the bridge, wrap around the Adrian Arch Center, go past the AAA. Yes, I'm still calling it the AAA. I don't care. It's called the FTX, whatever.
Ooh.
WXYZ
I have some
Center.
goons that are related to that, but go ahead.
But anyway, it was supposed to be a true street circuit. So it was going to go kind of loop around there. It was, I forget which bridge, which causeway it was going to go down. But it was just basically going to be just a straight shot, kind of turn around while on the bridge and then come back. So what you were seeing was what was originally going to be the track, but then everyone down there got pissed and said, no, we're not going to have a race here. So then Stephen Ross stepped up and said, hey, we'll do it here.
Stephen Ross doing everything he can except putting winning football team out there.
Precisely. So anyway, the only elevation change was when it goes under the turnpike overpass. That's it. That's the only elevation change.
Yeah, that was the only kind of unique thing was that. And it really just goes onto a back road that's behind or on the north end of the stadium.
Right, it runs parallel to a canal.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's just boring. And the other thing, though, is they built the track like crap. At least with these street circuits, quote unquote, they're built with some sense of permanence. So they actually do a good job at making the track, the asphalt.
Mhm.
The Miami one, they just kind of threw it together to the point that the track was starting to erode, so they had to fill it like with little, like you see those little black patches where they fill in potholes.
Yeah, yeah.
You were seeing those around the track. It's like, the hell? And like all the drivers were like, I've never driven on anything like this before. They were saying it was so piss poor. It's like
They were talking afterwards about the race, about how it fell under their wheels, how it handled, and I noticed that too, that they were speaking about it.
so it's just, yeah, they try again next time.
Oh, they got a year,
Maybe
right?
they'll get some good data from this, and maybe they'll improve it for next year. I doubt it. But we'll see. But yeah, everyone was giving it like a 3 stars. So it's like, it was an okay
3 out of
race.
5.
3 out of 5. It was like, it was an okay race.
I don't know if you can see the screen here that I'm showing off. Actually, let me go to the other screen so you can see it a little bigger. But this is Asphalt 7, and this was their Miami course, which I guess, and remember, this is a video game, but it could have, what could have been. So this is around like in front of Bayside, going towards the arena. Okay. And then they make a right, and they go right past the American Airlines Arena and going onto that bridge. Kind of, well, of course, they're not going to fly into the air like it shows here in the video game, but they go right into like around where the Port of Miami is. Okay, and kind of do this race, and then go back down the Port of Miami bridge, go past the arena, a lot closer to American Airlines Arena. Then make a left, kind of go around behind where the Freedom Tower is, and then going forward under the metro rails, and then kind of going through the streets alongside here in Miami, along the grids, right?
I mean, it was a bit different than that. It didn't really use the main streets that much.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm saying this could have been an example of what they could have done.
Right.
Within realistic logic, of course, not video game logic, but it's
relatively similar to what the original plan was.
Yeah, this could have been. This is probably, I show you this because this is one of the more accurate recreations of Miami that I've seen in a video game, aside from like Vice City. So that's why I remember this specifically. I try to re-download this game just to play on this track specifically, and like they're like, oh, well, it doesn't exist anymore. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Thanks, Digital Age. This is gonna be great for a video. This is why I collect video games physically now. This is why I'm not gonna get Guacamelee until I find the physical copy, Charles.
Listen, I'm just telling you, it's gonna be on. Just you could pay $5 for it. Like I don't understand. I get you. Look who you're talking to. Look who you're talking to. The ultimate hustler. I think my ancestors were selling like the fruit outside the jungle, even though they could have just gone in there. All right, the hills of Colombia and everything coming into it. But you gotta play Guacamelee. It's my avatar, man. Like,
okay. All right.
All
right. I might. Okay. $5. All right. Okay. So that was the F1 race. But all in all, I still enjoyed it. But from your much better keen eye of what happened, Andrew, I kind of got an idea as to why. I'm not
saying that I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
I mean, it's still a Formula One race. It was cool.
It's in your backyard.
It's cool to see sporting events in places that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in it's always funny to see the intro where they're showing South Beach, Collins Avenue, and then I'm like, oh, you poor souls, who are watching this on TV,
Heck, Miami Beach
all
would
of a
have been a
sudden
pretty
you're
sick
seeing
race.
out in the middle of fucking nowhere
Yeah.
in Miami Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had that same reaction when I first moved down here, because if you're watching football games, you don't really get to see the outside. You just see what's going on the field. So yeah, but I mean, it was still fun. It was Formula One race, but it didn't have the intrigue of a lot of other races.
Okay. All right. So let's see. We're at 40 minutes right now. I do want to speak about something, guys. I do. First off, let's do a real MVP. So let's start with that. My real MVP is that freaking horse. The horse that won the Kentucky Derby. The long shot. What was the name of that horse? It was a horse. I know that.
I don't remember the name.
Who else would it be? It's a chicken.
It's well, I mean, you never know, but
All right,
yeah.
Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
Let's see.
The horse was like a
Rich Strike.
Rich Strike. There we go. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's a cool name for a horse.
Yeah. So Rich Strike won the Kentucky Derby. He was, I think, was like, I forgot what the odds were, like 80-1 odds, something like he was a long shot in winning it, and came back and just stormed to victory right at the end. And it was pretty cool to see. And then he started like attacking the other horses after he won. So
Yeah,
That's why I call him Strike.
so that's this horse knew. He knew he was the champ, and he asserted his dominance upon the others afterwards. So I was very happy to see that. So Rich Strike, you're my real MVP for this week. That's for sure. Do you guys have any for yourselves? Anybody? Anything
not really.
Okay, well, if you guys don't have that, I need to lay some goonage right now.
Okay.
Some
Bring
goonage.
the pain.
Yes, my goon. This week, guys, it was a new one. Suddenly they took it right from whatever I was going to do before that. It's the Miami Marlins. So, my beloved baseball team, the Miami Marlins, it's caused me to question whether the false prophet was truly a false prophet or not. Because there are some things that have gone down. Yes, the team has lost 10. Let's see. Oh gosh.
Like 7 in a row, man.
They did win one game in San Diego, but then let's see. Their last. Let me start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Their last 7 losses. They're 1-8 in their last. 1-7 in their last 8 games. Those 7 losses have been all by 1 run. All 1-run games. They lost 3-4 last night to Arizona. By the way, they lost 3-4 to Arizona. They've lost every game this season to the Diamondbacks by 1 run. So the Diamondbacks swept them in Miami, and we'll see what happens here. But yeah, and it's getting real taxing for Marlins Twitter. I have been tested for sure this weekend with my fandoms. The Florida Panthers pulled it out yesterday, so I was very happy. But so they've tied their series 2-2. But the Miami Marlins did something today, guys. And they've done a few things that seem kind of idiotic. This Saturday, Andrew, I don't know if you're going to join me, but they're going to celebrate. They're celebrating their 1997 World Series 25th anniversary. The whole series against the Brewers. But Saturday they're going to do an actual ceremony with like Craig Counsell, who happens to be the Brewers manager, Jim Leland, and a bunch of other former stars, Levon, whoever's living here. They're going to pop out and take photos and all that stuff. And they're giving out replica rings. And it seemed like, they're doing all the stuff, but they're not wearing their throwback uniforms. And aside from Nike with some whatever weird bullshit that Nike does, aside from that, I can't fathom a reason why they are not wearing them, because 3 years ago they wore them. So I don't know how they don't have retro uniforms ready when pretty much every franchise in baseball has retro uniforms on the red, on the back burner just in case they want to celebrate their past. But the Marlins don't want to do that, and I'm Marlins historian, so it makes me very angry. It makes my eye twitch. All right, fine, Marlins. Maybe Nike had some manufacturing issues. Maybe you couldn't get the merch out in time for that weekend series. Okay, fine. Next year is the 20th anniversary of 2003. You better have your shit together, okay? I'm just saying. Get those black uniforms out there and let's go. But fine, okay? Then you had that whole taco fiasco with the saddest tacos.
We can't forgive on tacos. So
they're doing Taco Tuesdays, but I don't think they enticed anybody with the taco that they use, and I just wonder how, especially because I follow the Marlins chef on Instagram, how he allowed that photo to be taken for that thing.
Do you think that's what broke that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Jared? He's like, what? This ain't no burrito tacos. This is a basic ass taco.
Well, this is Miami, so maybe
I will say this: I still appreciate how you were your positive response.
Yeah.
When I was talking shit about that taco.
Well, yeah, but the rest of the world kind of had your sentiments, Andrew. Of course, that was evil Andrew. Andrew last week. Of course, I don't know which version of the Andrew verse we have today.
To quote the great philosopher Yankovic again, I'm whiter than sour cream, and yet even I was still offended by it.
I love a Weird Al Yankovic reference.
Still can't
2-0 Lightning.
What happened, Charles?
Dan Radcliffe is going to
2-0 Lightning.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's gonna be fun. Anyways, so they're my goon this week because of this tweet that came out from Marlins Communications. Listen, I follow Marlins Communications. That's their PR arm on Twitter. Hardly anybody says anything to them when they post out some stuff. They have 231 quote tweets for this, so that's not great. They've got the Bored Ape NFT that you see all over the place that everybody copies and pastes because NFTs are worthless and are a Ponzi scheme. Mm-hmm. They are displaying it against the San Francisco Giants because I guess the tech connection with San Francisco, all that stuff. I don't get it. That might be it. June 3rd, they're gonna have Magic City Apes. They team up with Magic City Apes. I don't know who the fuck those guys are, but they must be just a bunch of NFT bros. Just NFT bros. NFT crypto bros, because that shit's going well right now. They're gonna have an art display for this. Okay, on Friday, June 3rd against the Giants. So you go and you look at whatever this shit is. And then go see this ape. Because the baseball team's not doing great. On June 3rd, throughout Lone Depot Park, art lovers and baseball fans can experience approximately 20 pieces of NFT, non-fungible tokens for all you boomers out there. Bored Ape art displayed on the columns throughout the promenade level as they walk the ballpark in a first-of-its-kind experience at a Major League Baseball game. Guys, the quote tweets, let's head on over to those because let's take a look at some of the this guy put ball game ? This is nasty business. I mean, Bored Ape, the name says it all. Trying to appeal to rich suckers and improve my team's image by holding an event selling $100,000 JPEGs at my vacuous cavern of an arena named after one of the numerous organizations that exists solely to prey on vulnerable populations. Oh boy.
Well, to be fair, did the Marlins prey on vulnerable populations by getting the city to pay for that that park? So if the glove fits, if the glove fits, boys.
Let's see. Cringe. I understand why Jeter left now. Have you ever considered not doing that? Somehow the Nationals crypto tweet is not the most embarrassing thing done by MLB teams today. I guess the Nationals did something I didn't realize. Empty seats galore, but no wonder Jeets got fed up. What is going on in the NL East? I welcome all people rooting for the Giants on June 3rd. What the fuck? Tired MLB teams involved in Ponzi schemes, like the Mets, and wired MLB owner Stephen Cohen using his financial data analysis to improve his team's performance. And then I guess he put this, I don't know, that doesn't really make any sense here. The real reason Jeter left, everybody, there's a bunch of Jeter comments out here. There's a bunch of Jeter comments here. Take out a loan through Loan Depot to buy a Marlins NFT. It's clearly a good idea, and none of this is terrible. remember, Oakland A's fans, it could be worse. We could be the Marlins. That one hurts.
Yeah,
that one really hurts. I don't know if a Reds fan chimed in, but that one hurts. Yeah. Holy shit, this team can't stop losing. This is the highest possible level of brand synergy. A fraud baseball franchise and hawking a fraud product in a stadium named after a fraud company.
There might be a little bit of me in there if he's using fraud so much.
I think that's you. That's your burner account.
Oh, no, listen. I ain't no pussy. I'm just saying right now. If I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it. Freedom of speech, baby.
Oh, man.
We're getting Donald Trump back on this from Elon. I can say anything.
And then here's mine, guys. The fish are officially desperate. Maybe Jeter was right.
Did they ever clarify really why Jeter left? Like, it was just such the abrupt thing.
I think it was philosophical differences between him and the actual majority owner, probably. That's probably all.
I think I continue to believe that it was due to the lockout.
No matter
how far away he gets from his playing career, Jeter is still a player at heart.
Okay,
so he's not a sellout either compared to other players in the managerial position.
Sure, A-Rod would have. Been
he would have sold out.
Okay, well, that's really all I have to say about this, guys. So yeah, they're goons.
I think we have time for a short segment if you want to.
Let's. Well, I do have some stuff in the back burner.
I actually have a goon.
Let's go. Let's do it
when we talk about the NBA. No. For the NBA.
Wow, we're gonna carry over then. Sure. Okay. Well, I do have some other stuff. So let me. Yeah, we do have time. We're at the about to hit the 53-minute mark. So let's do it on the Cultured Swine. Even though the F1 segment was kind of like that. And by the way, it had the highest ratings for an F1 race since 1995.
And I want to, and actually, I want to make a I don't know, distinction. I don't know. It was the second most watched race in America, the most watched since 2002. Which was a re-airing of the 2002 Monaco Grand Prix. And naturally, it was the most live watched F1 race in American history. It was over 2 million people.
Yeah.
80,000 people attended in person. And I don't quite understand how they calculate these numbers. They said like over 200,000 people attended for the weekend. And
yeah.
Again, I don't quite understand how they calculate that. Is it?
I mean, they had tickets for all of the days, right? You could go on Friday, right, and just hang out.
You could just go Friday. Yeah. You could just go Saturday. You could just go Sunday.
Yeah, it's like any
two of the three, or you could go all three.
Yeah, it's like the Miami Open. Like you can go, and you can buy tickets for the whole event, and or you can just go for one day.
So I don't quite know how they calculate that number of how many people attend the weekend. Is it they add up how many people attended each day?
I think they would just count per ticket sold. Because the thing is, even if you have an all-day pass, you're still coming on each individual thing.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, it was like 200 something thousand people
Right.
went the whole weekend, 80,000 just on race day. So it was quite successful.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I do have a goon as well, now that you have me thinking about it.
Okie dokie. Let's do it.
I'm going to say Stephen Ross, but in reality, I'm just saying the whole crew of people that organized the race. And I'm not the only one pissed off at them about this, but they grossly overpriced and outpriced basically everybody from the race, and was done by design.
What does that mean?
The common man, the peasants.
Right.
But what does over ticket sales, stuff
Ticket
that
price.
your drinks, your food? Because there is an expectation. I don't know if Francisco would agree with me. Anywhere you go, any kind of event, you're always going to be overpaying, especially if it's a limited thing.
Like here, I'm looking at the Austin GP, the U.S. Grand Prix taking place in Austin later this year. I'm pulling up their ticket prices here.
By the way, Charles, the
listen to this. Listen to this. Friday only.
Don't tell me that he scored, Francisco.
Okay. All right.
Friday only is $59. Saturday only is $129. And Sunday they haven't released those yet, but still.
Do you think Austin's a big place of revenue in comparison to Miami? Because Austin, all I know about is weird concerts and people getting high. There you go.
I feel like that really does have a lot to do with the venue itself, or just the place itself. Like it's Miami, and they knew people. Like if you had a choice, there's two events in the United States, and you're a celebrity or just somebody with some money, and you want to attend one of these, casual events, right? Let's say you're a rich, you're a dude, and you have you're upper middle class at the very least, and you can spend your money somewhere for one of these events, right? Much like, okay, you go to one tennis event, okay, all right, I'm gonna go to the Masters. That's what I'm gonna save my money up for, or that's golf,
right?
Sorry, or tennis. Okay, I'm gonna go to the U.S. Open in New York. Let's do that, right? And then it's like, okay, well, if I have a choice between the two F1 places, I think most people would be like, I'd rather hang out in Miami than Austin, Texas.
Although next year they're going to Las Vegas as well. So there's
That's
going to
true.
be 3 races.
Which is going to give. I mean, if you thought Miami was overpriced, wait till you see Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to get all those
and
West Coast people out
hopefully
there.
That'll bring down the Miami prices, because
I doubt it.
They'll want to try and entice people to come to Miami over Las Vegas.
You see where I would say where maybe you're not necessarily correct on certain things, Andrew. Francisco, remember when the Heat were in the finals and how a regular season ticket would be one thing depending on their positioning in the playoffs or not in the playoffs for the regular season, and then you get to the finals and that stuff just jumps astronomically because it's a need, it's a want, and it's also an advantage being taken care of. Because when you're that big for any ownership, for any event, you don't care about the common man anymore, right? Because that's you're putting out so much money in networking and production, television, radio ads, all these other things that you're going to need the big money buyers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a supply and demand thing, and people demanded Miami. They're not, because like they've had this Austin event forever, and yet none of those people showed up until it went to Miami, right?
Yeah, well, they don't have Tootsies over in Austin.
Hold on. 400,000 people went to the Austin race last year.
But did Michael Jordan go?
It wasn't Michael Jordan, but Cardi B went.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, okay, but I think the glitz and the glamour kind of, and really maybe F1. This is strategic.
Absolutely.
This is strategic. They've got an East Coast, they've got a Central, and now they're getting a West Coast with Vegas. So
right.
It's strategic. So like, all those people like New Yorkers and whatever, they'll come down for an F1 race from in Miami, right? There's a bunch of them down here anyways. So, and then Vegas, okay, a bunch of people from LA and all those Tech Valley people and will go from San Francisco on over there or Seattle. They'll head on over to Vegas for sure.
Plus, we have something that Austin,
And
Texas also doesn't have.
Texas has a bunch of tech stuff and businesses and industries and all that stuff that are in Austin itself, and they'll come down from Dallas and Houston and San Antonio just to go over there.
We have a Flanagan's that doesn't close till 5 in the morning. Exactly. Dwayne Wade will be there.
I didn't see
in
their
Doral.
ads next to the Rolex and a bunch of the other stuff out there, but yeah.
You don't need to because you don't affiliate with the Common Man. Come on, man.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We're at 1 hour mark. Let's actually. I won't do my little thing. We'll just head on over to the non-sponsor guys. So let's do it. We're from non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you that we've been enjoying over the last week. So guys, we're here. We're doing the thing. Who wants to go first this week?
I go first.
All right, Charles. Let's do it.
So it is not Metroid Dread, Francisco.
Yeah,
I know we were.
Listen,
We already did
different
it.
perspectives. Like you were getting the thing from a Metroid fan himself, so I was very much biased in my
But
review.
here's the thing: I thoroughly enjoyed Metroid Dread. I'll give you a little side spot. It's an 8, and my problem is that I want an evolution of Metroid games to not be you lose everything and you spend 85 to 90% of the game just getting your powers back that you already had.
Yeah,
But I thought Dread was excellent. I'm not gonna lie, because it brought back that love and feeling a little bit. I think it's still related to the Cold Jobs, and the Jizzo Rizzos and the Aaron Judge home runs. Everything has to come together. That's called symbiosis. That's called kismet, and that's what brought in a little bit of my gaming love. But side note, Metroid Dread is fun. Francisco's already talked about it. I give it an 8 out of 10. It has some technical issues coming on into it, but the gameplay is still stellar. A little bit sensitive on the analog stick. I like it. I do like the ending, big time. I was invested to keep continuing, even though I was banging my head on the ground. 25% of the way into the game is when it really starts picking up. The Emmys suck, my God, because you have to really be time sensitive to block it. But so it's like a little shout out recommendation. But it's only because I finished something today, right before I came for the show. I listen to audiobooks. You guys know I listen to Audible. That's not my non-sponsor. We're actually going to be specific here. The last
we're
couple
on Audible,
books,
by the way, everybody.
We're on Audible, everybody. Follow us on Audible. Follow us on the Twitter, Charles the True, Dan Frijoles, FJOJR. Follow us on Audible, Sports Goofs Podcasting. We're very famous there, very famous people. So I've been kind of straying away because I can go on a hard luck kind of run of fantasy books. I had just finished Scott Lynch's Gentlemen Bastards. I don't like to give praises to series that aren't at least close to completion. That's only 3 books in. Scott Lynch, I'm still waiting on, all the other books, so please get that done. We'll just do it. I don't know how I feel about 3. And then I listen to I, Claudius. Good mom's recommendation. I want to hear or read the books that my parents like, just so I can carry that on my legacy. In that sense, when I go to my niece, I'm like, oh, hey, little one, go from here. But I want to stray away from fantasy. Sci-fi books are kind of tough for me sometimes because you're either too into it with the world building or the characters suck and you can't win one or the other. H.G. Wells ruined it for me because I thought World sucks. Sorry, everybody. But also I think a lot of American classic literature just sucks ass. Say right now, that's my legal terminology for it. So one of my friends recommended an autobiography. And I don't necessarily like the concept of autobiographies because I don't idolize people. And that's how I always viewed autobiographies. I'm not going to lie. Anybody who reads a little biopic or whatever the word is, biopics of people from movies or listen to autobiographies or read autobiographies, I'm like, you kind of idolize people that have no affiliation to you that you don't really know. And I always feel like there's phoniness to an autobiography. They only list you the good things instead of the bad things. Case in point, Notorious B.I.G. movie. Biggie was viewed as a good person in that movie. I'm like, Biggie killed people. I'm just saying right now. But my friend referred me to Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. And I don't follow Trevor Noah like that. I'm not in love with The Daily Show. I wasn't really in love with The Colbert Show. I know that Jon Stewart is a smart man. I know Stephen Colbert is a smart man. I know Trevor Noah had succeeded in The Daily Show from Jon Stewart. But comedy satire, I like to think of myself that I have my own satire base of information. I do think satire in today's world is actually probably more foundational news than the actual news itself. Fight me, kids. I'm sorry. I don't care. But she had recommended to me My buddy Sabrina, who I've known for like 15 years, she's a lawyer too. I'll give her a little shout out. Her and I kind of, trade ideas for books. And she said, "Oh, you should read this." I finished it. The Audible was about 8 hours and 42 minutes of listening. The book's probably like 300, 400 pages, but I was deeply engrossed into it because he was born in South Africa right when apartheid was about to end around 1984. And he says he was born a crime because he was a child of, a love child of mixed families. His mother's black, his father was white. And so you got his perspectives of growing up in South Africa, post-apartheid, what was building into it, his family members, his interactions, him going to school. And I'm all about education. I come from a background where my father is Colombian, my mother is Argentinian. They didn't come to the States. Mom was like 5, dad was like 11 when they came in here. And one of the things about the American exceptionalism that kind of bothers me a little bit is when people kind of compare politics to things that really don't make sense because they never met or interacted or gone outside the shell of this country, and what they think how bad it really is. Poor here in America is not same as the poor in third world countries or in South Africa, and so it kind of generates in me. He also narrated his book as well. So it really, you get his flavor. He speaks so many languages, sounds very intelligent. He's only a few years older than us, which is weird, but he talks about growing up in South Africa. And then he also talks about his mother, how the contrast be him being a little badass, his mother being a church going lady, over there. And then how she was, a victim of domestic violence for her years. Anybody who's been following the show for the 4 years, that's my specialty of my profession. My specialty is not being violent. My specialty is helping those who are victims of violence. And then that is actually something that's very prevalent in not just third world countries, but in Africa, and how law enforcement doesn't take it seriously or anything of that nature. And it's a little bit of a spoiler, but you just get the wiki on it. So it's not a spoiler, but his mom got shot in the back of the head by the ex that she survived. It's one of those crazy kind of things. But it really kind of brought it together to a humanistic feel. And it was a good recommendation because I think it made me interested about the person, made me interested in just the politics of another country, of another world, another system, another infrastructure, right? It wasn't really based on left and right-wing ideology. It's more or less like you're screwed if you're poor, and you're screwed if you're poor and black over in South Africa, and you're screwed if you're, poor and mixed color, screwed if you're poor, but you're white. It had a lot of different dynamics coming in, and it talks about some of those disadvantages. So it's part education, I feel, part humanistic, because you're actually having the person narrate their own biography, autobiography. So you do get a personal touch to it. And then it also is a perspective of the disparities of genders over in other countries too. So it was one of those few that I found was educational, entertaining, and enjoyable, the 3 E's. So Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. I don't know if that makes me go watch a stand-up. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I think the common denominator stand-ups have kind of lost their quality, but I was the guy who watched George Carlin and Robin Williams, and Bill Burr's kind of there, but even Dennis Leary back in the day. I don't want to watch Pete Davidson, and I guess that's the thing now, and I just don't want to do that. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah, but definitely recommend it to people to listen to it, to read it. Born a Crime, very good. Try out your Audible subscription. Go to your local library, because those things still exist. Check the book out, get the Audible or the audio CD of it, but highly recommending. And it's an interesting perspective too, because he wrote it when he was younger. It only came out in 2016. So who knows if there's a back nine that he talks about it in his Hollywood days. But Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, promo code. Oh man, I'm trying to think of everything coming in there. Patricia, I think that's his mom's name. So I'll give the shout there.
Okay. I guess I'll go next then. So we'll go from here. All right, guys. So went out on Friday. I've been trying to go to this place for quite a bit now. I've gone before, but I decided to go out with the lady, and it's a Korean restaurant. It's called Korean Kitchen. Korean Kitchen. We've been trying to go there for quite a bit. But I just didn't realize that these people close early. They close early. They close at 8:30 on weekdays, and only on Friday and Saturday are they open until 9:30. So they just want to go home and watch the Heat game, and I get that. I don't mind that. So, but guess what? They make some pretty damn good Korean food. It's a hole in the wall type of place. Okay, it's a hole in the wall type of place. It's not like, it's in like a little strip mall type of area in North Miami Beach. But they got some good eats. Okay, they have like a little tiny deck kind of makeshift deck that they made, I'm assuming because of the pandemic, and it just kind of stuck for them. They have just a takeout window, and it's just a kitchen, and you go in, you get your food, you sit down, and you eat. Okay, so this is their menu. Of course, they got all the great Korean dishes. I myself got a little saucy that day.
Ooh.
A little saucy.
Ooh.
Because
Bad saucy or good saucy?
good saucy, Charles.
Good
It's
saucy.
it's pricey saucy. I'm gonna tell you that. It's $35 worth of saucy, but it's saucy, folks.
Oh, is it Korean barbecue ribs?
No, I got myself some spicy squid and pork stir fry, my friend.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, my face. I was red like crazy, but man, it hurt so good. That is for sure. It hurt really, really good. Very much a friend of that. I could have gone for the bulgogi. I almost went for that, but I decided to just go for go turn up the heat completely. Andrew, you're not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
Your palate's not ready yet. Okay?
Poor Andrew.
You're not ready yet. I'll take you one day, but you are not ready.
That's like final boss status.
Exactly. No, that, believe me, your head would have exploded. You're not ready for that. We got you on the chimichanga. We got to go someplace else at some point. But we're working our way up the ladder.
Plus, would you eat squid, Andrew? No pressure, but you got this right now.
Oh, this is a good question because she asked me, have you had sushi?
Who, me?
Yes.
I love sushi.
Oh, okay, good. All right, good. Cool beans, but not squid
I have not had squid.
or octopus.
I have not, no.
Okay, so no mollusks of any kind.
Correct.
Oysters or clams or...
No,
Okay.
have not.
All right, well, we got to work... I mean, look, it's not that bad. All right, if you've eaten sushi, you can work your way to that.
Yeah, if you have dipping sauce, I think you'll be able to handle it, bud.
Yeah, eel sauce. Ooh, yummy.
I mean, look, I'd rather take, that octopus as opposed to some fish just without any additional flavoring that haven't been blackened or battered or anything,
So we had some dumplings, of course. That was good. We of course had we imbibed a bit. Okay, had some of that Korean. I think it's what is it called, soju or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had some of that. Okay. We had this, I forgot what it's called, but it's a drink. It's kind of milky, but you drink it out of a bowl.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you drink it out of a bowl, or a little David Hasselhoff style, right? Just absolutely, it looks like something you would get and be like, okay, if people saw you drinking alcohol out of a bowl, you go to the AA meeting afterwards. But here, it's not frowned upon. And we did get something. It's an appetizer, yes, but you can have it as a dessert. It's the mozzarella cheese corn dog, my friends.
What?
The mozzarella
you
cheese
have my
corn
attention.
dog. Charles, I sent you the photo.
But that was like 5 days ago. Do you not understand? It's not even the point where I was blackout drunk or anything. I'm just old. I don't remember things. I was dealing with Metroid Dread and everything. I will go through the chat as you
go through the chat. I don't know if I can find a photo of it. Let me see if I can look on the Yelp page. But just think. Imagine a corn dog, but you take out the dog and you stick it with mozzarella cheese inside, and you fry that baby up, and then you coat that thing in sugar.
What the fuck?
It's not smooth like a regular corn dog. Nice and crunchy and crispy.
But if you're doing sugar, where's my ketchup? All right, I'm looking at
You
this.
can have
Is this the
ketchup.
thing on the stick?
It comes with ketchup. You can
Is this the thing on the stick?
It's the thing on the stick, Charles.
Wait, they did empanadas?
No, they're dumplings. They're their
The
own version of
dumplings. Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Hispanic crossings
Yeah,
coming
there you
into
go.
it.
Yeah.
I forget that it's Korean barbecue.
Yes.
I would eat that. I can't tell much of the tasting.
Oh no,
You can't
it's
see it.
immaculate. It's fantastic. Okay, come on, it's fried cheese surrounded by
living
fried
where I'm
batter.
I
just
hate living here
with
so much.
with sugar coated on top of it. All right, you can handle that, Andrew. I'm gonna tell you that, my friend.
You had me until you said there was sugar.
But buddy,
Yeah, I get it. It's a lot, but I didn't expect it to be dessert, but it became dessert because I was very curious.
Like I said, it sounds delicious, but then you add the sugar in, and I just don't know how that.
So
But it's eating like a Chinese donut with stuff inside. I can get behind this.
Here's a photo of it on the bigger screen here. So that's what it looks like, complete. I took a bite of it so you can see the inside where the cheese kind of oozed in, and it comes with its own little ketchup packet. Charles, believe me, your ketchup is there. You'll be fine. And that's okay. You can have it just cheese only, or you can have a mix of both cheese and fish cake inside of it. So
wait, what?
Yeah, they have a fish cake cheese hybrid version of it.
Interesting.
Indeed.
You see, I like trying.
I was a bit too afraid to try it, but I might try it next time.
Yeah, I mean, a little bite.
Yeah.
We're not. If you give me a sample, I'll try it. I don't want to order the whole thing and then hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just like the worst.
Yeah. So the Korean Kitchen, guys. There you go. Promo code. Not Andrew ready yet. Not yet, man. You'll make it. You'll make it. Believe me, we're getting you there. We gotta plan out the next outing. That's for sure. We haven't even gone to the frickin' churro place that Charles recommended either, and it's right there. Too.
Oh my god, it was so good, you guys.
It's right there too. We've had plenty of opportunity to go, but just haven't yet.
Yeah. All right. So, can you still hear me?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
perfectly.
Cool. So my non-sponsor. This is going to be a little bit interesting. It's going to be it's partially a person who shall not be named because I don't want to
Voldemort
reveal their identity. But it's also the show that they recommended to me, which is My Hero Academia.
Oh!
I recommended this. I'm not sponsored this.
I haven't even looked at this. My God, Andrew got ahead of me on the anime department.
This is multiverse, Andrew. We got him playing games. He's eating spicy stuff. He's doing anime. He's our love child.
So I know that you've sponsored it, but I haven't. So anyway, this person, I wanted to impress them, and they said that they were a big anime fan. Particularly into Miyazaki, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "All right, what's I'm curious. I want to get into this. What should I watch?" And they gave a few options, and one of them was My Hero Academia. So I was like, all right, let's try this. I mean, I used to watch anime a little bit when I was in high school because my friends did. They were big into Naruto, some other show, I don't know. And I'm not counting Pokemon because I didn't really understand what anime was back when I was that young. I just thought, oh, it's a cool cartoon. So I started watching it. Watched a few episodes. It was good. I enjoyed it. I got through the first season in a couple of weeks, maybe. And I don't know what happened, but it recently, like within the last 2 weeks or so, was just kicked into overdrive. And what's that?
What the tournament?
Well, now I'm halfway through season 3. I'm now, well, I won't spoil it, but I'll just say that, what was the last episode? Izuku and Bakugo got into the fight in that, that ground beta because he thought that it was his fault that he lost the powers.
Mm-hmm.
So I am. You know what? No, I'm not ashamed. I am not ashamed to admit this, but I have gone on watching sprees that went until 4 a.m.
I'm so proud of you.
That means it's you got it good.
Well, so it does
you got
that,
the bug
though,
good. That's a good
because it starts out slow, but when it hits certain arcs middle of the season, man, then it gets really good. I just wish the end seasons were better of the arcs, but the mid-season arcs are Chef's kiss.
The problem is, I mean, it's not a bad problem. I like it. It's a bad problem when you're in a binge. It takes them like 4 episodes to cover like 20 minutes of real time. Which, again, it's not a problem. Like, if you look at the sports festival, it took them like 8 episodes just to cover the sports festival.
I don't like the sports festival because after what you had in season 3, after him and One for All, and then All for One going at it, and then all that, the same way with season 2 is just immaculate because you had the tournament and then you had the Stay in the Hero Killer, and that was I'm kissing my fingers right now.
So, I mean, it sucks for binging because, you know, it's these 20-minute episodes, but it takes like 3 or 4 of them to wrap up these little mini arcs. It's like, it's 3 a.m. I really don't want to watch another episode, but I have to. So, like, I have now said, all right, fine. I'm not going to watch them at night anymore. I'm going to watch them in the morning when I wake up. So I won't be going to sleep at 4:30 watching this show. Anyway, it's so good. It is so good. Like, I actually have a motivational background on my phone that says "Go Beyond Plus Ultra."
Dude, just wait till you see Lemillion in Overhaul. I'm just saying that. Favorite character, favorite villain. I don't care.
So yeah, I'm into this deep, man. It's been a while since I've been this hooked on a show. You know, I weep for when I inevitably hit the end of the road because they only have 5 seasons on Hulu. But supposedly they're making more seasons.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're catching up to the manga from what I know, but they're on season 5, or they just finished season 5, and season 6 will come forever because COVID shut down some of the operations. And they have side movies, but I haven't watched said side movies because they tend not to be canon.
But yeah, it's so good. It's like, you know, inject this straight into my veins. It's so good. I can't help it.
We've Charles, we have a new version of Andrew from the Andrewverse. Andrew.
Weeb Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. So we got to give him like Midoriya's hair in that alternate with some cell shading.
Yes, we have Weeb Andrew this time. I think every episode we're just gonna have a different Andrew pop in from the.
But this is a shocker.
Well,
one day I'm expecting to be like, guys, I finished a bottle of Jack
universe.
Daniels. I'm like, what?
Andrew in the Multiverse of Madness. There we go.
Exactly. I would watch that movie.
Yeah. Okay. And
Well, I do like surprising you guys. That is a lot of fun.
this has been the theme for this season: is different versions of Andrew popping through.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
It's a lot
promo
of fun.
code?
So yeah, My Hero Academia. Charles, what do you think my promo code's going to be?
Bakugo's a bitch. I don't know why anybody likes him. That's my promo code for it. But it's got to be plus ultra, right?
Well, I was going to say plus ultra.
Yeah.
Although I think another acceptable one would be you idiot.
You did that.
Yeah.
There was young Midoriya. You got to do the voice. Just like
Young Midoriya.
It's not bad.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my non-sponsor.
All right.
And thank you to the unnamed person for suggesting it to me.
Man.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, that was very much a surprise that we have Weeb Andrew joining us for this edition of the show. So I'm happy about that. Charles is definitely happy for sure. He sounds like a proud papa right now. Yeah.
I birthed this boy.
Yep. So, well, we're at hour 24 mark right now, guys, and we got some stuff to talk about. There's some playoffs raging on. Let me take a look at the scorecard real quick so we can kind of get a gauge of what's happening tonight. So right now, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins, they're 2-2 at the moment. Right now,
Brad Marchand.
Canes are up 2-0 out in Raleigh. So that was great. Of course, oh gosh darn it, real MVP, Brad Marchand. I forgot. Brad Marchand. Let's do that real quick. I do want to talk about this because the really and look, it's a good series. All the teams have won at home. That's great and all between the Canes and the Bruins, and it's been a fine series, very chippy for sure. But Brad Marchand did something that and look, yes, people hate him. The outside of Boston, the rest of the hockey community hates him. But my God, he's such he's
the nicest villain ever.
Yes,
he's the good bad guy.
He's the good bad guy.
And when I say villain, I mean hockey villain. He seems to be a decent guy off the ice.
He is. He stands up for the rights of other, disparate communities. Okay, he's got his own cereal. But this one right here, Brad Marchand, just getting into it with Tony DeAngelo. By the way, he also got the empty net goal to seal the deal in the last victory for the Bruins, with Tony DeAngelo throwing his stick, which of course is a penalty. It's an automatic goal anyways, even if it did deflect the puck. But just as insult to injury right there for against Tony DeAngelo. But of course, Brad Marchand trying to get at him, yelling. The ref's trying to prevent him from getting to him, and Marchand kind of nodding his head as DeAngelo's going back into the locker room during intermission, and Marchand just nodding his head. Racist. You're a racist. Because
does that remind you of Family Guy was like, you're a phony,
you're big fat phony.
Got to with the Brad Marchand voice.
Of course, Tony DeAngelo has had some incidents in the social medias and stuff to show off his where his feelings lie with regards to just anybody that doesn't look like him. So and Brad Marchand, he's a man of the people.
Man of the people, the people's champion.
So you're a real MVP. So thank you for that. But yeah, and so there's that. That's the series that's happening right now between the Bruins and the frickin' Hurricanes. Other series that's happening right now. Hold on 1 second. Later on tonight, we've got the St. Louis Blues versus the Minnesota Wild. That's 2-2. And then the Los Angeles Kings and the Edmonton Oilers headed back to Edmonton, and that's also 2-2. And that series has gotten really chippy as well. Of course, it's Stanley Cup playoffs. Right now, in Toronto, 2-2 series as well, but the road teams have done pretty good in this series, and the Bolts are up 2-0 against the Leafs.
Yay!
So there you go. I hope you guys kill each other, and because the Panthers will be facing off against whoever it is if they can freaking handle the Caps. But it's 2-2 between those two teams as well. I was very happy. I was getting worried, guys, but my pessimism fueled the Panthers to a game 4 victory. So it worked, guys. It worked. Okay, Panthers Twitter was almost falling apart, and then the Panthers pulled Bob from net, and then around the 3-minute mark, they were able to get the game tying goal, and then in overtime, they got the game winning goal. You can hear about I went on a podcast. I went on another podcast. I went on Locked On Panthers podcast to talk about the game 3 loss, and then I did my own little thing, my Panthers historian thing, to talk about the game 4 victory. And right now, I thought the best series would be between the Pens and the Rangers, but the Penguins thoroughly frickin' spanked the Rangers in Game 4 to go up 3-1. and they're looking like they're about to get another victory and head on over to the next round. And the Avs look good. They thoroughly look like a 1 seed versus an 8 seed, and they took care of business. The Avs may be the actual year that they get something done, which is kind of scary.
A large part of me wants them to not,
of course,
just so the memes.
But also, I mean, Joe Sakic has won at everything he's ever done, and this seems like the culmination of that. However, maybe a rematch of '96 and the Panthers finally get some revenge. That's the hope as well for me. Anything that's sticking out to you in your series, Andrew, between the Leafs and the Bolts?
I mean,
because I could go on and on with the Panthers. I don't intend to, because it's gonna. We only have so few time.
Because I could talk all day about the Lightning.
I know, but I want your brief synopsis so far of the series. Now that we've gotten into 4 games, now Game 5, you're up 2-0.
I mean, it is the pure definition of a seesaw matchup. Game 1 went to the Maple Leafs. Game 2 went to the Lightning. Game 3 went to the Maple Leafs. Game 4 went to the Lightning. The first team to score in each game has gone on to win. Knock on wood. There were 2 relatively close games, won by each team, 1 each. Then there were 2 blowouts, each won by each team. It's penalties galore on both sides, depending on depending on which game. It's dead even, man. I mean, ultimately it's going to come down to, can the Lightning break serve? Because if it keeps going this flip-flop way, the Maple Leafs mathematically are going to win, just because they have home ice on the 7th game. I mean, it's a good start so far. They're up 2-0 going into the second period, but 2-0 is the worst lead. If I'm being honest, it's just enough of a cushion to give yourself a mental break, but the second you give up a goal, you go right into 1-0 mode. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much the quick breakdown. I mean, this series, it's
both teams
the other thing.
Both teams are like just haymakers, because it was like 5-0. Like the Leafs score 5 in the first game, you guys score 5 in the second game, and then the Leafs score another 5 in the third game, and then the Bolts score 7 in the fourth game. So it's just been haymakers, really. There's been blowouts more for the most part.
Although I will put an asterisk on that 7. 2 of those goals were scored as empty netters.
Yeah, but still 5 goals.
Still 5 goals.
Yeah,
it was 5-1. But then they came back and scored 2 goals. But yeah, that was in garbage time. And also, it's a very physical series. They're just beating the crap out of each other.
I mean,
and I'm sure you're enjoying that very much.
Well, the Capitals aren't really making it easy for the Panthers either. So
I got to give props to the Caps. I mean, I know I say over and over that a team that's successful in the regular season does not necessarily guarantee success in the playoffs. It's a whole different style of hockey. But man, the Caps have I hate to say it because this is I won't say it because that's very brutal. But you guys have clipped your nails, as it were.
Well, I mean, they finally, Game 4, I think we finally got a semblance of what the Panthers were in the regular season. Once they got that game-tying goal, it's their demeanor. looked a lot different on the ice. They looked very less desperate and looked more like, oh, this is the comeback cats. These are the Panthers that were down like 5-1 to the Leafs and then came back to win 6-5. Like, just like, oh, we can score at will again. And then they went into overtime. The Caps only had 2 shots on the Caps in Game 4. The Panthers had a defensive clinic going on. And it was unfortunate because there was that high hit that TJ Oshie did on Sam Bennett, which didn't get called and didn't get disciplined, by the way, by the NHL. And then, so that led to an unfortunate goal. Kuznetsov kind of scored because everybody's like, what the fuck? And then they were able to kind of get everything together. But that entire game, the Capitals only had 16 shots on net. In an overtime game, by the way. 16 shots in it throughout the entire game.
I mean, in fairness, it did not go that deep into overtime.
I know, but still, 60-minute game, 65 minutes, I'd say, with the overtime, because the Panthers were able to score pretty relatively quickly, let's say. If that's holding the Washington Capitals to that with Ovechkin on the ice, that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. The Panthers doubled, like they had 32 shots on net. So that was really good. They finally figured out Samsonov, so hopefully that kind of... They went into Game 5 with momentum. They looked themselves again, which was something... The Panthers took them... The Capitals were out of... took the Panthers out of themselves in Game 3. Like, that was I hated watching that game. I actively hated watching that game. But then Game 4, like, once they got the game-time goal, it was... They looked like a different team in my eyes. All right, so we're at an hour 36.
I just have to add one more thing about your series?
Yes.
You're welcome. The guy who scored the game-winning goal, Carter Verhaeghe.
He scored 2 of the goals, by the way. 2 of the 3 goals that day. So, yeah.
The man has playoff experience. He was with the Lightning.
He has a ring. He has a ring.
So you're welcome. You're welcome.
So there's that. All right, and then we actually have a good Sergei Bobrovsky right now, which is fantastic. Dallas and Calgary, I'm thoroughly enjoying that series. I'm cheering. I'm actively cheering for all the Sunbelt teams because I like Canadian cities losing to Sunbelt teams. That's always fun to me. For me. So that's hopefully the Kings can do their job, and you guys can go to 7 games and go to like a triple overtime, and then have to play the Panthers literally like the next day at daytime or something. Maybe that can be the schedule. You guys will just be dead tired. All right. Let's see. I think that's it for the Stanley Cup playoffs right now. So let's head on over to the NBA playoffs. All right, so NBA playoffs right now. Games that are happening at the moment. Well, I mean, Miami Heat are up right now, 56-43. Not going to get ahead of myself, Charles. Not going to get it. We're in the second round at this moment.
Oh, look, we have a lead because we didn't start a certain point guard.
All right, well, there's Charles's feelings already right there. Well, all the other series. 2-2, Milwaukee and Boston. Charles, any thoughts?
Good series.
It is a good series.
They're just slaughtering each other,
which is good.
Feels like it's going to 7.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that people need to realize: Milwaukee's playing without Chris Middleton, so unfortunately for those fans, they're stuck with Drew Holiday going 5-22 last game, and that's where Milwaukee kind of in theory, you reap what you sow kind of thing. When you went through Drew Holiday, you realize, oh, crap, we paid him for being a defender, but then we realized the guy can't shoot really anymore. 5-22 is atrocious. Just god-awful. And it's one of those things where had you put other people or facilitated the ball or try to get maybe Brooke Lopez into the paint in the foul line and try to get him to do some free throws, would that have won you the game? Because they were in the lead for the four quarters until the back end. So they were winning despite Drew Holiday's bad stuff. I still love Giannis. I respect it. Him and Embiid are my respectful big men. I don't respect any other big men but him. Bam's not technically their bigs because what they have Embiid and Giannis as like really center height, but played as power forwards, whereas Bam is straight up a power forward. They just slide him into the center. But you know what? All my three big guys. There you go. All in the East. We hate them West Coast guys. Paris Alonso, Mofos,
Who
and
won the
DeAndre.
MVP, by the way?
But, well, we'll get to that, I'm sure. But it's a good series. I think it goes 7. I think they slaughter it. That's my thought process.
Okay. By the way, the Montreal Canadiens got the number 1 pick in the draft lottery. So that was the other bit of news that came there. So their tank worked out well. They outdid Seattle and Arizona. So okay. So that's that series. Then we have out west, Golden State 3-1 over Memphis right now.
It's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
That's true hatred. And herein lies my two goons.
Here we go.
Not one, but two. And they're both Memphis Grizzlies. And one of them kind of hurt. One of them kind of hurts. Ja Morant's kind of a goon. Because he's going around saying that Jordan Poole was pulling at his knee. He's out for the remainder of the playoffs because he has a bone bruise. And I was just trying to find on Twitter where that was. Where this possible foul that caused his knee injury. And if you look, it's like you see Jordan Poole grab at the knee slightly, but that really is enough to leave a bruise that deep. And when we say bone bruise, it's not the same like little ouchies that I get for stubbing my toe. But the way that Ja was kind of like playing was kind of dirty as hell. And I don't know if I sent you guys a Twitter clip, but it was, I think it was Steph trying to go for the basket, and then Ja kind of stuck his leg out. And it's just one of those Tale of Two Cities situations, but he was jumping around trying to block some shots, and he extended his knee. And you should know when you have actual dirty plays happening from physical contact. You know who would know? Markieff Morris for getting knocked the hell out by the Parasalophagus. Or Joel Embiid, who got hurt, concussed, fractured orbital, but still came back to play. But I don't know if Ja's like jucking and shiving and complaining of how this series has gone makes me like him anymore in that sense, because it's to a level of how theatrical your opinions are. And is it fair to say that the youth of him, because I'm not going to say immaturity, because you can't say anyone's immature when you don't know them, personally speaking, but is the youth of him creating this presumption of arrogance, if I'd be right, because we've already crowned him. We've crowned him, have we not? 3 years into it, we have crowned him. We crowned him better than Zion. Zion's a waste of a pick, just saying that right now. Come back to me 5 years from now. But we've said that there was analysts saying if you had to build a guy for the next future, you got to pick Ja Morant. NBA Tonight was not doing it. ESPN does it.
Looking at the series, he's leading players in points right now, in assists as well. So that's kind of he's averaging 38.3 in this series,
and it's good. I just feel that now we've crowned him, and now maybe he takes that momentum, and it kind of feels now. Andrew doesn't know enough about this man, I think, when I'm going to make the comparison, but you will. Are we treading water into Allen Iverson territory?
Where he's basically the team and that's it, and he's
the team, but he's also may become the problem.
Ooh, that was AI's problem when he towards the end in Philly.
Because you got to look. Philly. Because look how everybody has reacted with Desmond Bain and Dylan Brooks, who broke Gary Payton's elbow, very physical, chippy, and who's the one kind of clapping it up a little bit? Ja. And then my other goon is still on the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's Taylor Jenkins, their coach. Brilliant coach so far. Really helped propel this team from irrelevance to a weird hiring to being the second seed. But he was saying that there was dirty plays on Jordan Poole grabbing for Ja's knee, and then he backtracked on it. What is spilt the milk cannot go back into the bottle, bud. Plain and simple. And it was just one of those things because it feels like a collective thing. I don't want to say the Memphis Grizzlies are the goons, but yeah, sure, I'll just say the Memphis Grizzlies are goons because they're kind of playing chirpy and dirty. And I feel like this is not the narrative you want to.
Grit and grind.
Yeah, but this is not the narrative you want to fight against because tell me anybody who doesn't like the Warriors right now. where you see them all healthy, fighting, collaborative. They're destroying teams.
Yeah.
They blew out.
And a 5-game series
Memphis.
to rest up for the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, and don't you want to see them come back to the proclamation, right? To come the reclamation project to say, hey, y'all thought we were just nothing but stoves, but do you really want to play us in that sense?
Nope.
And tell me that they can't win it all for the West.
They've done it before. Like this is the same. Like, okay, now we got Andrew Wiggins and
well let me throw something to you. Phoenix might not be hosting a playoff game, baby, in the Western Conference Finals. Get to my next section, please, sir.
Dallas versus Phoenix. The Suns, the other Heat-based team here. Ooh. So
give it to me.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be a wash, right? It was supposed to be Luka, another one of problem children, and he is a little bit more of a problem child for his complaining to the refs. And it was a 2-0 series. Name the other people on that team. Dorian Finney-Smith. You're like, who? Jalen Brunson? Who? Jason Kidd, the guy who really shouldn't be on his third attempt coaching, but somehow he is. And they go and they tie that up.
Yep.
When Chris Paul, who's getting fouled out, only scored like 5 points in game 3, and then he has the issue with his family, unfortunate as it is.
Yeah.
Where the spotlight of awkwardness of fans, and then Devin Booker just being a guy, not the guy, and DeAndre Ayton not being more than he could be. Monty Williams wins Coach of the Year because we just got to fondle that ball sack. Instead of Eric Spoelstra. What? 2-2. We're 2-2 now as well.
Yeah.
But no one really was behind the Heat. Anybody who would Skip Bayless, anybody who says that they were really behind us was not behind us. You thought Boston was better than us. You thought Milwaukee was better than us. You thought Philly was better than us. You thought we were a 4 seed. No one really said that the Suns were never actually worse than their competition. You always said that they were the best of the competition. You said they were going to repeat. And I think the momentum's against them. And if they don't make it, I don't know. You guys might have to cover your ears down in Miami because you're going to be hearing me cackling like a villain. Like pure out. I'm going to love it.
Yeah. Because
regular season doesn't matter. We are the 1 seed, and we might lose to Philly. They're the 1 seed, and they're going to lose to a Dallas Mavericks team that, to quote Shania Twain, don't impress me much. So you got the look, but you got the touch. Now, don't get me wrong. I think you're all right. But that won't keep me warm in the middle of the night. So you got Devin Booker. Doesn't impress me much.
Andrew, that was pretty smooth, if I have to say so myself, to work those lyrics in there. But yes.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, your prophecy came true, Andrew. The Leafs did score a goal immediately. It's 2-1.
Well, it was on a power play, so
I know, but still, your prophecy once more.
Yeah,
the 2-0 lead. Yeah,
Andrew Stradamus. That's kind of hard to say, but
we got Weeb Andrew right now. Andrew Stradamus might be coming next week.
Oh, his quirk is prophecies. But Francisco. I'm going to love this, and I might watch a little bit of the 10 o'clock game. I got court tomorrow, so this is the problem. All the West Coast teams, and this is why I can't catch up because, you guys, I'm too tired. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
But I might stay up. If it's Game 7 elimination game, I'll watch it because for me, will be the whole coronation of I'm right, the Suns ain't nothing, Devin Booker's just a guy. And I can't tell you why I don't like him. I've been running that momentum. The same with how creative Aaron Rodgers. This is where we've been for the last 3 years, guys. And I can't fight it.
All right, so we're at hour 47, and we know our feelings on the Heat, I think, right? I think we're good. We're up.
Let me say one thing.
One thing. All right, go.
Why did we trade for Kyle Lowry? Our bane of our existence has been a old point guard always getting hurt, man. And I was not a fan of the Lowry trade when it first happened. I think I have it in the tweet messages. I have it in our messenger chat. And I think I said on a show, it don't vibe well. But the man was 3 for 10, flopping around winning Academy Award nominations. And I don't care if our good friends Jeremy Taché. I don't care if the Miami Heat. I don't care if Bam. I don't care if Jimmy Butler's offended by what I said. I'm angry at Spoelstra for just letting it be and letting what he thinks is the rotation dictate around. Philly is athletic and fast. Kyle right now with a bum hamstring is not athletic, nor is he fast.
Shouldn't have played.
And if
he shouldn't have played.
Shouldn't have played.
No.
He shouldn't have played the last 2 games. You could have saved him for the other round because it's not so much of riding the hot hand. It's just right now your facilitator of offense was Jimmy. Why couldn't you just have it continue to be Jimmy? Maybe you should put Duncan Robinson in. I understand the concerns about Robinson being a bad mismatch if he got up against Embiid because he's a power forward, small forward. It's a weird kind of blend and mix that comes into it. That's why Caleb Martin's kind of around. But, you can also say he's a shooting guard too, but I wouldn't want him going on Harden either. It depends. It's so weird with that tweener position of the 2-3-4s. However, Kyle Lowry was never the clutch closer guy for me in Toronto. That it was DeMar for a bit. That's why they traded him. And then we gave this man who's 35 a 3 or 4 year max contract, 120. And I don't care if you miss the regular season. I care if you show up for the postseason. You know who's showing up in the postseason right now? Who's been playing the regular season? Victor Oladipo. Yep. Right now, as I'm looking, 12 minutes, 11 points.
Yep.
What? Ridiculous.
He's ready.
2 assists coming in.
He's
it's
ready.
Exactly what I wanted.
He's healthy.
That doesn't mean I think that PJ Tucker and Gabe Vincent and Max Strus are just like what I need in life. They're the hot hand kind of guys. But if you're talking about we want guys for defensive prowess, Bam's a defensive player. He's very, might be defensive player of the year. I don't know if they've announced or not yet, but he's up there. PJ Tucker's a very good defensive player. And
Rudy Gobert won again. I think that's what happened.
Fucking Christ. It's always him. It's always him.
Yeah.
It's it just be a stinky Frenchman. Sorry. And then I just don't get it. Like, why? He doesn't win anything. Yeah, he doesn't he barely touches up.
He thinks he can defend Shaq. We're at 1 hour 50 minutes right now. So.
But I'll keep the cage short so I can crap on Kyle Lowry for a second. But why? Literally, why? Because this is going to hurt us if you really want Donovan Mitchell. I kind of do, man, without giving up Tyler Hero. No. But that's going to be the prize pick, though. That's the problem.
Give up Duncan. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, but they're not going to want Duncan. And here's the thing.
Not with that money.
I was looking. That Donovan Mitchell contract is actually kind of movable. It's not as terrible. Gobert has Gobert has the hard immovable contract at 30, and then the final 2 years of his things 40 something. Whereas I think the final 2 years of Donovan's final contracts are in the 30 mil, light 30 mil. And there's me, the Matthew McConaughey meme where he's smoking on the cigarette, looking at the phone. That's me. And I'm like, because you have to also, and I think you would agree with me. I'll shave off 2 minutes of the cage on this one just to state it. We do kind of have to look at Jimmy's replacement at some point.
Yeah.
As a superstar, not as a positional player because they play 2 different things, but you need a superstar in Miami to be relevant.
They're trying to win with this core right now because they only have such a window in order
about
to
2 more years.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. You can lead to the cage, but yes. I had to throw the smackdown on Kyle Lowry.
All right,
I'm sorry.
So, let's see right now, and then baseball's happening. Fine. The Reds are terrible. I'll get to that next week. I already talked about it in a mini segment.
I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I did a mini whatever for us anyways for that. And Rizzo Jizzos and cold jobs are happening and that stuff. The Rays are good as well. And the Marlins suck. So there we go. Okay, so let's head on over to the cage.
All right, welcome everybody to your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a stage fight. It is a song and dance. It's a synchronized song and dance, right? It's ballet. It's poetry in motion. It's heavy rock. It is, men and women being the holy hell out of each other, trying to accomplish their legacy, trying to, chase championships, and also trying to have their day of judgment and also change their hairstyle. Not a lot of stuff is happening in wrestling yet. That's going to be next week when it's a big old one. I might do a bite-sized cage this weekend because my schedule actually affords me to do so. There was a pay-per-view over the weekend. That's probably what we're going to focus on a little bit. Let's go with the smaller things coming into it. Ring of Honor, still a work in progress, still trying to figure that out. Tony Khan, you'll get used to it at some point. I still don't know how they're going to facilitate that, when they're going to facilitate that, if they're going to get their licensing. Warner Brothers, Discover, they merge, as I told you guys, and I'm still checking the rumor mill.
They unloaded a bunch of video game studios.
Yep.
Recently, Rocksteady, a bunch of all the stuff that made all the good stuff.
Well, there's also some stuff that's saying that TNT and TBS and in this merger don't want to do anything that's scripted going on, or doesn't want scripted television shows, which is weird because wrestling's scripted, but I guess it's a form of entertainment and sports, so that's why they'll keep that niche. Because TBS needs stuff. I don't know what the hell actually you have on TBS besides like Big Bang Theory, like reruns out of the wazoo, and then baseball, and then American Dad. So the thing with wrestling is year round, so it might be a benefit. But now we're getting to year 3. And I want to talk about this a little bit in theory because I didn't talk about last week, and it's not my full level thought process the way I had about Peacock buying out WWE to a degree for their renting and licensing their shows. But now there's more potential for AEW and this possible streaming platform for Warner Bros. Discovery, not because of the fact that people think will be best for business. Because hear me out. What's best for business? That or holding pay-per-views at $50 a pop and thousands of people buying it, right? You can generate money either or. But now you're getting into year 3, which means you have 3 years worth of library of a catalog. You bought Ring of Honor, but you have to focus on AEW because obviously Tony Khan, that's his baby. And you have to keep to the OG, baby. You have to keep to the original, man. And with that, now you have 3 years worth of library. Maybe you can get more platforms. Maybe you can stream out, or you get the reduced fee because $50. I paid it once. I'm contemplating Double or Nothing. We're gonna have an AEW specific show either next week or the following week where we talk about it. But I still don't like doing $50. But if I do tiers of Warner Brothers Discovery, whatever they do, I hope they don't redo HBO Max because I'm sick of all these streaming things. I'm just gonna go back to cable, right? But if you do tiers and includes like reduced pay-per-view fees, I might be in that. I'll pay 30. 30 is fine. 50 is a stretch, man. 50 is a tank of gas. That's how real it is. So if you're looking at long-term, long-term, well, I get them for free. So what does it mean? Long-term survivability, survival rates, maybe you have to do that. But I'm intrigued. Let's go with AEW to talk about it. They're doing the Owen Hart Qualifier Cup. So a little background of it. Martha Hart does not like WWE for good reason. That's Owen Hart's widow. Very long story short, Owen Hart died at Over the Edge because he was coming out the blue blazer on like a harness and it fell, landed on his neck, died. They announced on the show that he died. Vince McMahon did not cancel the show.
Yeah.
Very drab.
About that. Yep.
So they're like, nah. And then Tony Khan wanted to do a Owen Hart kind of like qualifier cup, and I don't know, you win the Owen, I guess. It's like saying you're winning the Oscar, but you're winning the Owen. I don't know if that gets you a future title shot. He's doing the men's and women's. They did qualifying tournaments, and now they're actually doing the round robin stuff, and then they have a Joker card, and I don't have an idea of who's going to win. I know they have Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin going against each other. It's not like my kind of tournament that I get excited for, like the G1 Climax over in New Japan. Because the G1 Climax usually means whoever wins gets a guaranteed shot at Wrestle Kingdom. You get a briefcase and everything like that. You winning the Owen doesn't mean much to me. And the thing is, you're not really providing standout wrestlers yet for me to be fully in love with. I mean, you already know what Darby Allin can do. You know what I mean? People know what Jeff Hardy can do. Jeff Hardy's there. I actually don't even think Jeff Hardy should be part of it because you have to kind of figure out what pushing the new talent leads to. Ray Phoenix is good, but we kind of know what Ray Phoenix can do because he's been a tag team champion. You have Samoa Joe. We definitely know what Samoa Joe can do. The Joker is what interests me. So when they say Joker, that means it's going to be a special appearance by somebody. So is it going to be Cesaro, who was Claudio Castagnoli in Ring of Honor when his indie days? Cesaro used to be WWE. Is it going to be Johnny Gargano? That'd be kind of cool. But I look at these lists of everybody, I'm like, because if you're doing tournaments, it has to mean something. Don't treat this like King of the Ring is done in and Queen of the Ring, I guess, in WWE, where it's like it's a moniker, it's a gimmick, and someone wears a crown. And it feels weird. I'm gonna tell you guys why it feels weird to have an Owen Cup tournament. Owen Cup. Owen Hart's been dead for like 25 years, right? 20 something, not 25, but close to it. AEW has no grounds or affiliations of it, so it doesn't feel kind of improper. That's as if I don't know how to say it. That's if like a random attorney just buys out my license rights as like the law firm of Charles Trujillo. and friends, right? That's the best way I can kind of make it to it. You have no extensions, connections, or anything like that, but people appreciate me for being an awesome attorney, and they just want to take my likeness. It just feels improper. It just feels weird. It feels awkward. And now AEW released their little game thing, the release for the games, and they're also going to include Owen Hart as a playable character. So here's some backstory about Owen Hart. Majority of his wrestling career was in WWF. And then he did some stuff for New Japan. I think he had the Stampede or Calgary Wrestling. They do far, and I loved Owen Hart. I thought he was the better Hart. I'm sorry, people are going to beat me up for it. Bret Hart is great. He's the excellent execution. But I liked Owen as
the
a
Calgary
heel.
Hitmen are because of him.
Yeah, well, there you go. The sharpshooter. There's a finisher.
Yeah, I don't know if you know that story, but the Calgary Hitmen, they're C8. They're a Canadian Hockey League team. In the major juniors, and they're the Calgary Hitmen, and guess why they're named that?
For Bret Hart?
Yep.
I mean, Bret's great.
He's a founder.
Yeah, look, Bret's great. I also loved Owen. Owen, just his highlights was being double time slam. This is probably I should have done it to know, to learn a goof on Owen Hart. But he's double slammy winner, IC champion, European champion, tag team champion. Never got the big title, but there was rumors that Vince would put him there. But it just feels weird. It feels improper. They're also doing women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida, Red Velvet, Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, and I think there's also a wild card, like a Joker in there too. We'll talk more about it, but you need it to matter a little bit to me, as opposed to, just put stuff together and stick it to WWE. But AEW, will talk more about it when Double or Nothing occurs. Impact's doing Impact things. Josh Alexander is your Impact champion. He won against Moose at Under Siege, I believe, and beat him, then defended his title against Tomohiro Ishii. We love the Stone Pitbull. Apparently that was a great match. I'll revisit back into it. That's all I'll say about Impact right now, because I don't want to belabor the wrestling points if there's not much to talk about. If I could do a bite size this week.
They're going to be
Let's go.
Kissimmee this weekend. Look at that.
AEW?
Impact.
Oh, Impact. Well, if the price is right, I'll consider it, because I'm closer to Kissimmee than I think I'm only like 2.5 hours away from Kissimmee, but it has to be like $20, man. $20 maybe, and I'll do it. Not to say
that's what it's called. So.
Yeah, it's not to say that I don't like what they bring to the table, but I'm lazy. But WWE had a pay-per-view this weekend, WrestleMania Backlash. You heard me talk about it on the last show. I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. I lied.
Yeah, we saw the group chat.
Yeah, I watched the first 3 matches because that's the stuff that I was interested in. I have not watched the other matches. I really don't have any inclination to do so, but I heard it was actually overall a very good pay-per-view, which is interesting. But the matches I did watch was Cody versus Seth Part 2. I thought the first match was better at Mania. It ended with Cody pulling the trunks on a roll-up on Seth because, Seth tried to cheat and Cody reversed it. That feud's still continuing. It's going to go to Hell in a Cell, which is in June. I don't need it to happen. I'm sorry, guys. I don't need that feud to continue. I know this is a reestablishment of Cody, but I feel Cody, we love you, follow us on Twitter, but I feel Seth has really been the one carrying the feud and really reintroducing light to people. And I think Cody's only been part of a couple of tag matches and a match against The Miz. And then Theory and then Seth interrupted last night. The match was fine. Bobby Lashley versus Amos, meh. Amos is kind of goofy for me because he grunts a lot, so he reminds me of Super Shredder and Secret of the Ooze. If I could find tall dude, 7'4", guy would just eat me up, but whatever. AJ Styles versus Edge. Chef's kiss. It wasn't like the 5-star I wanted, but the match there was better than the first match that they had at Mania, because Mania, there's always got to be some screwy stuff, and Backlash is usually the epilogue to a lot of stuff. The feud's continuing. Match was good. Good old school storyline telling of AJ's injured shoulder and then Edge just working on that. And the match ends with Priest, who is part of Edge's Judgment Day segment, which is weird because Judgment Day used to be a WWF pay-per-view. So you name a stable off a pay-per-view. What the hell? Weird. I'm just saying. Priest is out there. That moonsault was just beautiful. But Priest is just out there staring, and then because he was barred from ringside, but he wasn't at ringside, he was on the ramp. And then he's like, AJ's like, "What the hell are you doing there?" And Finn Balor comes out and then attacks Damian Priest. And then you think AJ's going to finally win because he lost at Mania because Priest interfered. And then he's just about to beat Edge and mean something and put him to the top of the level to challenge that title against Roman Reigns. But apparently that title doesn't matter anymore on Raw. It's only a SmackDown title to get me started. And then someone else interfered, and it turns out to be Rhea Ripley. So now the stable has Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. And the feud's not over, but it's going to interplay other people. so it can lead it to SummerSlam, where I think that's where it's going to be the coronation of AJ's final win over Edge, because Edge has been cheating to win. He's 2-0 against him now. AJ just can't win it. But then you get the SummerSlam match. I hope it doesn't go to Hell in a Cell. You got to let Finn and Edge go at it a little bit, and then AJ and him go back to SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is your big four pay-per-view, because at some point, Roman's undisputed unified titles are going to be split. And I think that's how you help AJ catapult back into the main title picture to win the Raw title, whatever they call it, because I don't think they call it back to the WWE Championship, but they might change it to the World Championship. We'll see. But Rhea in there is interesting because she had turned heel recently. Edge cut his hair, and it's a big shocker for me because I was used to Mr. Caveman. I actually have a photo of him that I use for our meme reactions in the chat, where it looks like he's just like crapped himself a little bit. So that's like my shocker face. And, you know, guy's a stud with short hair, man. I wish I could have hair like him. But Rhea coming back, she bleached, or not bleached, but she blackened her hair. She's part of the Sable. I kind of like the Sable too, of having, you know, both, you know, all the genders in there as opposed to just goons. It's not like, it doesn't feel like a goon squad. It feels like we're just going to F stuff up. And we don't know what their purposes are. But it was an interesting take in development. It tells a good story of how AJ actually is probably better than Edge, but just can't beat him because of interference. And it reunites AJ and Finn Balor, who in New York, or not in New York, I'm sorry, in New Japan, were part of the Bullet Club, separate leaders. Finn was the OG leader and AJ was the successor leader. But I liked that component. I heard Charlotte and Ronda were good because it was an I Quit match. Ronda won. A few other things are just going down the match card here. Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin. Moss won. Okay, whatever. I told you guys that was not a match I need to see. And then the triple threat, not the triple threat, the six-man tag team match of the Bloodline of Roman Reigns, the Usos versus RK Bro and Drew McIntyre surprised me from what I read, because I thought Drew McIntyre was going to pin Roman, and that's how you built the story of Drew McIntyre going against Roman Reigns finally. But apparently, Roman just spears the hell out of Riddle and wins 1-2-3 in a very chaotic six-man match, which is good for me because I don't think you can sell me on Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns in a 3-month feud. I don't think you really can. Drew has really just kind of like bleh on the top babyface concept of being the major pusher for the major storyline, the challenge side. I do think he'll be the one who dethrones Roman at some point. How you do it, I don't know. And eventually they will split those titles too. So I don't know if you have it where Roman wrestles 2 matches in one night and loses both titles against separate challengers, or maybe you have a triple threat where it's a, like they did with Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho for the IC belt and European title, where it's like, okay, whoever wins the first pinfall or submission gets this title and the other one gets that title. I actually would be for that because I think that increases the drama. I know you built Drew, but storylines matter, guys. And what's the storyline that you can give me of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, who has beaten Drew before, even before he was a bad guy? He's beaten Drew at WrestleMania, beat him at Survivor Series when he was a heel. Can you drag that for 3 months? No, you should interchange. This is usually the downtime in wrestling. So give me Shinsuke Nakamura versus Roman. They have some beef to sell. 1 month pay-per-view, 1 month feud, and then you can bring back Drew, because it's a long time before SummerSlam. SummerSlam is going to be July 27th, I think. And it might seem like it's 2 months, but 2 months is a long time. 2 months is 4 weeks of storylines, that you have to do for each program. And that's, not even 4 weeks. I'm sorry, I can't do math. 8 weeks of storylines. And you're not having Roman challenge on Raw. So I think that's what you should do. You want to keep Drew fresh, have him feud with Bobby Lashley for 1 month at Money in the Bank. And then you can have him win and then go back to Drew. Because technically he's the undisputed unified champion. So he should be on both brands defending that title, as opposed to them just making it the SmackDown belt, right? So I may watch the tag team match and Ronda and Charlotte. I'm going to skip some other stuff. But all in all, it's good that you have a pay-per-view that everybody was like, meh, really enjoying it, right? That was the surprise. That's the shocker. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about Double or Nothing. That's going to be building up. That's the AEW pay-per-view, whether Charles should buy it or not. And then maybe I'll do a bite-sized thing more about the Owen Hart Cup tournament and how I feel that you need more longevity instead of just doing tournament brackets, do tournament brackets. But really, that's all I got for you this week on the cage. I miss Brock Lesnar. Come back, you Viking. Just go destroy people. I might eat those words if he comes back and just wins another title, but he was entertaining to me. We still love Sami Zayn. He's like Randall from Recess. We love Kevin Owens. So the Ezekiel Kevin Owens storyline has been fantastic, and I might do a bite size, or I might do on the next week's show. But that's all I got for you this week.
All right, so I think that's it. We're out. We're done, folks. So see you guys next week. We'll talk about maybe baseball, more hockey, more basketball, more wrestling, and yep, we're out. Bye bye.
Good night.
You suck, Kyle Lowry.